All right.
Can you play a test song to make sure that I'm getting the capture on it for Roll20?
Don't play copyrighted music.
Yeah,
sure,
play the theme song to our series.
Oh, play Christian. Are you getting that?
I am, correct.
Beautiful. Okay. So now I'm going to play the recap. Chris was so kind as to pre-record it, so I'm going to let that go.
I might do the same thing next week.
So.
Last week, on the wrong side of the wall, Teague and Hale discussed the crew's concerns over the behavior of Teague's pet owl, Ulysses. Teague promises to clean up better after the ship's mascot, lest he wind up owl fricassee. Fry and Jormungsen discuss whether they and the crew are ready to tackle the big one, and wonder what sorcery they might face. Fry is convinced sorcery can't hurt you if you don't believe in it. Jormungsen isn't convinced. And Fry considers the daunting challenge of going a few hours without getting high. Meanwhile, Serrano seeks reassurance from Reinhardt, wondering if he ever gets freaked out. In turn, Reinhardt confronts Serrano about what it means to be a werewolf. Reinhardt confirms his general contempt for sorcery and his low regard for sheltered rich boys, but tells Serrano he doesn't need to sweat the piratey thing. Serrano can just follow his lead and stay out of his way. When night closes in, the full moon finds the Selene in the perfect position. The plan goes off without a hitch. The treasure ship caught between escorts and boarded. A pitched battle follows. Casualties are taken on both sides, but the Marines fall before the crew of the Selene. Reinhardt defeats the captain of the treasure ship in a one-on-one duel, and the sorcerer and his hellhound fall to the combined efforts of the crew. When the battle is reaching its conclusion, Hale goes below. The ship is filled to the brim with treasure, but he ignores the gold and jewels, and instead pulls from its pedestal a single small case containing a strange orb. It seems the legends are true. Meanwhile, Dr. Fry is rummaging through the treasure ship's captain quarters. There's little enough worth stealing there, but Fry realizes that there's hardly anything there at all. No manifests, no course charts, no planned landings, no evidence that the ship was ever intending to make port again. In other words, a trap. The call from the crow's nest aboard the Selene confirms it. Sails on the horizon in every direction, flying the flag of the Avalon Navy. The Selene is surrounded. The battle for plunder is over. Now comes the battle for survival, this week, on the wrong side of the wall.
Incredible.
Great recap. If only that last part were not in there, and indeed not true at all.
I sure wish everything went perfectly all the time.
Can we just get Chris and Richard to do the recaps all the time?
Hey, literally, if somebody writes it, we will record them.
You're muted.
I am absolutely muted. There we are.
Just chorus of Nathaniel, you're muted.
Thank you for having my back. No, that was brilliant. That was really well done. Thank you so much for that recap, Chris. I really appreciate it. And just a note, Chris is a little bit under the weather, so just like Kirk was a couple of weeks ago, Chris is rocking that sexy sort of growl to his voice, which I
remember, being the captain, you need to bark orders, yell, all those good things.
We don't know how.
Just get real close to the mic.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh boy, what's happening in the chat here? We are, so like I said, thank you very much, Chris. And we are actually going to start with Hale as we open into episode 4 here. Have you ever felt an out-of-body experience? just a sense that like you're you, but you don't feel anything else. You can't feel the ends of your fingers, your toes. You feel a bit suspended. It happened to me one time when I was really, really sick, and maybe it's happened to you as well. But regardless of that, that's how Captain Hale feels right now. There's just a sense of disconnect from everything. And as he opens his eyes, or at least comes to some sort of sense of consciousness that he lacked before, he looks around and realizes that he can't see anything. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the wherewithal at the moment to understand if that means he's blind or he's in some sort of total darkness or his eyes are somehow covered. But at the moment, he can't feel his hands or legs, so he can't confirm they're still attached. He can't even confirm where he is, or whether he's upright or prone, or indeed whether at the moment he's alive. All he knows is that he can think, he can ponder, and he can remember. Where was he? That's right. He was on the treasure ship. And so, with a cool, like, fade effect, we come to you, Captain Hale, in the below decks of the treasure ship that the Selene was attacking. We find you holding, as I described back in episode 3, a emerald orb, about the size of one of those Chinese stress balls that you might rotate in your hand to give it a massage.
Mm.
And as you rotate it, it gleams with an unnatural light and seems to have images of the oceans tossing and turning within. Bringing it near your ear, you swear you can hear the sound of the sea, kind of like a big conch shell. So, everything else in that treasure room sort of fades away as you hold it in the palm of your hand. However, you're broken out of whatever, not stupor, but whatever sort of gaze this gem has captured, because you hear the huzzas coming from the above decks, indicating that your crew has inevitably become successful. You really had no doubt. And then there's a silence for a moment. And then the piercing shout of Jackdaw Fry warning the others that that it's a trap. Maybe just on the edge of your hearing, you can hear the mate from the Selene's crow's nest. After all, the two ships are at the moment sort of linked to one another. Maybe you can hear the mate on the crow's nest shout, "Captain, Avalon sails!" Or not Captain, just "Avalon sails on the horizon." Maybe just on the edge of your hearing. You certainly catch the words Avalon and sails, to be certain. What do you do?
As I mentioned last week, Hale slips the orb inside of its case, and then slips the case inside one of the pockets of his voluminous jacket. He takes a quick look around the treasure room. You can tell from his expression that he's marked a few other piles of interest, but he immediately stomps his way back to the stairs up to the deck. He throws open the door.
As you do, you are confronted with a dead sorcerer, half the man he used to be, simply because Reinhardt has cut him in half. Reinhardt cleaning his sword before he puts it away, or keeps it out. I guess he wouldn't put it away. Egil nearby, and like I said, you can't see Fry, but you definitely heard him shout over the ambiance, "It's a trap!" Probably not like that, because that was more Admiral Akbar than Jackdaw Fry. Indeed, it only takes you a moment and a gaze in any direction of your choice, really, to confirm that there are definitely sails on the horizon. And a couple more glances in another direction confirm that, yeah, they seemingly are coming from everywhere. So.
The captain steps out onto the deck, strides towards the center. Who else is here on the deck with him? I know that Fry had gone off to the captain's room. Presumably Reinhardt is still here cleaning off his sword.
At the moment,
I am likewise.
Reinhardt and Jormungson are both with you.
Okay. Then...
Well, as a
Captain-
bunch of the goon squad.
I think if
Our
I would be
good
on the
squad.
deck, he would have
Yeah.
ran out screaming that it was a trap.
You
Okay.
ran out of the corners. Okay, so at this point, then you're seeing him sort of round a corner or come down a set of stairs.
Probably just like barreling towards you at this point.
So why don't you lead with that then, and then I will respond in character.
Okay. So Jackdaw has ran from the captain's quarters, finding proof of nothing, meaning, well, this is bad, and almost runs headlong directly into the captain, screaming all the while, "Captain! It's a trap! They've got us probably surrounded right now. I have no idea what's going on, but this could be the worst possible thing that happens to us this year."
Aye, Dr. Fry. I got that. Also, I'm on the deck here. No need for shouting.
He, at the moment, as you're saying that, realizes he has run past you, doubles back, and turns around and walks over. Captain, what do we do? This is bad.
Captain Hale looks out over the horizon again, seeing the sails. You can see he pulls a looking glass from one pocket, pops it to its extension, and starts looking in a certain direction for a long moment of silence. Then he slams it closed in his hands. Lads, these idiots think they have us surrounded. Coming from every direction. That's not a smart policy. The wind ain't coming from every direction. That means we have an opportunity to break out. Mr. Jormungson, you're with me. I want you to be pulling up every cask of whale blubber and lantern oil this ship has. Bring some over from the Selene, too. Oh, and a cask of black powder, if you don't mind. You can toss them all into the captain's room here.
Eagle doesn't even respond. He just lopes and jumps right back over the Selene to start grabbing barrels.
Mr. Reinhardt, take the rest of them back to the Selene. I want it battle ready in 10 minutes.
Aye, Captain. Be there in 5.
Mr. Serrano, a word before you leave.
Andre would still be in werewolf form.
Yes.
He snarls.
And then the captain sort of stands there for a moment as he lets people start moving. All right, boys, hop to it. And then when he and Serrano are more or less alone. Mr. Serrano, you've made a good contribution to the crew thus far. How much further are you willing to go?
I will stay like this if you need.
Maybe. See, I've got a bit of a plan. But if we're going to make this tub get out in front of the Selene, we need to lose some weight. That means these bodies need to go. We need to throw every bit of provender they've got down there out into the water. And we need to tear off the boards, if it comes to that, to make this tub light and fast enough.
He bares his teeth and looks directly in Hale's eyes and says,
Prisoners too.
Ain't no prisoners on this ship, Mr. Serrano. We did our job well.
Aye, Captain.
Before you agree, the reason I'm asking you instead of ordering you is because this might be a one-way trip. Mr. Jormungson don't mind. This'll get him a seat at the table of the storm gods if it comes to it. But for you, it's not necessarily advancing your way home if you die here. But your safety's not guaranteed on the Selene either. And they don't tend to be, how should I put this? Camaraderie to pirates when they capture them in our world. Don't know how it works in yours.
I understand.
Good. And get to it.
And immediately bodies are flung far into the water.
Your memory is fuzzy after that hail, but you feel as though if you concentrate enough, the rest of that scene will return to you. For the moment, we'll turn to Eagle Jormundsen. And for you, although obviously you can't be aware of what Hale is going through, something similar has happened to you. You come awake, or at least come to consciousness anyways. And at first, you're convinced that you're just one moment away from stepping into the halls of Valhalla, or whatever Eagle would like to end up there. Where, although from all the stories you've read, you don't remember it being completely dark like this. Is this what limbo feels like? Is this what people see just before the big bright light that leads them onwards? Maybe, but no bright light comes. Just a sense of... No, you feel something, finally. One in your limbs, you're not sure which. Aches? Pain? At least it's still attached. Something is, anyways. You try to gaze around, but you can't see anything. It's blacker than black, and you try to flex the muscle, the ligament, the arm, the leg, the whatever it is you think you're feeling that's in pain, but nothing's coming. You're still much too out of it to start to move or flex or anything like that. There's something else you're feeling too, but you can't quite put your finger on it. For the moment, your mind begins to race. It's the only thing that seems to be functioning at full capacity right now. And yeah, you've headed back to the Selene to do exactly what Hale's asked, to throw those things overboard. Could I get a brawn and athletics? Brawn and athletics?
Yes. Also, just for the record, I'm not throwing things overboard. I'm moving flammable things to the other boat.
That's right. You're moving flammable things to the other boat. Sorry, Serrano was the one who got asked to throw things overboard.
Yes.
My bad. You're bringing the explosives up onto the other boat. Yes.
Aye,
Absolutely.
Captain.
So if you can make that roll for me, that'd be awesome. Perfect. 48. Very nice. Okay. So, one raise to succeed. That leaves you with 3. Here's your option. The more raises you spend, the faster the job is accomplished. If you spend all 3, it's done this round. If you spend 2, it'll take you 1 more. If you spend 1, it'll take you 2 more. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, the faster you go, the more physically exhausting it will be. Enough that you might take a wound or something equivalent from the physical stress.
Gotcha. Quick question before I make my decision. I know not much time passed between the 2 sessions, so I'm assuming none of us healed any wounds?
No, nothing has been healed, because it's literally seconds later.
Yeah, which is what I figured, but I had to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a pretty bad spot. Speed is of the essence. I'm going to spend all raises towards speed.
Okay. I would like you to take 2 wounds, representing the physical exertion you put upon yourself.
Understood.
But otherwise, you get the job done. As fast as you humanly can. Every bit of thing that you think could be caught on fire or exploded is brought up within reason. That is enough to blow a boat, anyways. Is brought up and brought over to the other ship.
Yes. Very good.
The job is completed satisfactorily. So, okay. The next person to come to, we'll call it awareness, although I'm sure each of you would prefer if it was something a little bit more tangible than that, is Josef Reinhardt. And the same thing for you. definitely feel a couple of aches and pains in various places. So perhaps you have an advantage over Hale and Yormison. You're pretty confident all your arms and legs are still attached, although you can't be sure all the bones are where they should be. It just feels like you got hit by a boat trying to undock and you happen to be swimming behind it. It's not a comfy feeling. And it doesn't help that you seem to be suspended. You're not sure if you've been laid down and stretched, or whether you're being suspended horizontally somehow, like a meat on a hook. But regardless of it, it's a very uncomfortable situation. It's one that is not a situation you want to be in much longer. You begin to wrestle with something and realize that something is holding you back. Something hard and harsh. Your mind immediately snaps to something grabbing you like hands, but no, it's much too stiff for that. You don't feel the separation of fingers. And there's something else too. And you realize what it is. Once your brain begins to process just how achy and in pain you are, you realize what the other sensation is. You're cold. You're really cold. But for the moment, your mind races back to the deck of the treasure ship. And you have already leaped over to the Selene to prep the ship for battle readiness. What does that look like, Reinhardt? I imagine that's probably a mix. That's probably, in some regard, getting the crew in order and the cannons and all of that. But describe what Reinhardt does to get the ship ready, as it were.
Well, let's see. So, Captain makes the orders.
Yeah.
Reinhardt carries out the orders by also giving more orders.
Yes.
But also, like, if he sees somebody moving too slow, he's like, "Oh, for crying out loud! Fine, I'll do this myself. Go somewhere else. Find somebody else." And just kind of like that.
Right. A mix of delegating and leading by example.
Yes.
Right. Okay. In that case, I would like resolve, plus either convince or intimidate, depending on how what approach you're taking.
Oh, I am very intimidating.
Okay. So resolve plus intimidate, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I am more intimidating than I am convincing. Okay, so be an extra 2 dice, because oh no, hold on. Any physical risk? Oh, okay, it's a physical. Okay, never mind. Would this be considered physical?
It is and it isn't. Like you could make an argument for it. You gain 1 bonus on any physical risk while aboard a ship at sea. Engage a sword-fighting pitching deck, climbing through the rigging during a storm. I'll allow it, because you're in a situation where speed's an essence and you're having to navigate what will very soon be a tumultuous situation.
Cool.
I'm okay with it.
4.
4, excellent. Thank you, by the way, for everyone who posts their abilities in the chat, so I don't have to consult. It's very helpful for me.
You should thank the character sheet.
Yes, actually, the character sheets are really nice. I want to mention that, is that, like, that's one of the things with Roll20, is that because a lot of it is fan-made oftentimes, there is a bit of a roll of the dice, haha, in terms of whether or not the character sheets are going to be good, and sometimes you don't know until you go for it. So
these are the 7th C 2nd edition character sheets, and kudos to whoever made them.
Yeah, kudos to whoever made them. So I think they've been well designed. 4 raises, okay. Yeah, so basically the same thing I said to Eagle. 1 raise to succeed. The other 3 are kind of a speed versus preservation of strength kind of decision. If you spend all 3, then the ship will be, as you promised, already much faster than in 10 minutes. But you just came off of a fight a couple of fights. Well, one major fight and one like trunksing a dude. That's a DBZ reference. So you're not at full physical form at the moment. You are a bit, and you also are a little quite injured, if I remember correctly. You've plugged at least one hole where something internal is trying to escape. So all 3 races can go towards getting the ship ready, and the ship will be ready this round. But you will suffer physically for it. And then the less races you spend towards getting the ship ready this round, obviously the more rounds it'll take, but the less physically demanding it will be on you.
How physically we talking here?
Same thing as Eagle. If you spend all 3 races to get it done this turn, you'll take 2 wounds.
Oh, I see.
Nathaniel, go ahead. Sorry.
What happens when you hit your second dramatic wound?
That is a great question.
You get an extra
believe-
dagger.
The villain gets 2 bonus dice against you every time they roll. Like a villain, not
What?
a goon squad, but
And not brute squads, not the Goonies, but any major villain characters get 2 extra dice against on.
You're
any rolls
hindered
against
by
it.
a wound.
That's crazy.
right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a big deal.
Okay, doctor, get your shit together, man.
Uh-huh.
I literally can as soon as we figure out what's going on.
Okay, yeah, I think speed is of the essence, and I'm gonna dump it all into that.
Okay, then in a matter of moments, the crew fall in line under your intimidating posturing and orders, and the cannons are loaded. The ship is ready. Those that are on deck have their swords drawn and ready. Teague and his carpenters are standing by to patch things up as needed. Everything is in place. The Selene is as combat ready as it possibly can be. But the physical exertion on you moving around, especially since you're still nursing a wound from before, means you suffered 2 wounds, as I said. So, and as Kirk has written, he has his second dramatic wound, which I think is the first person to hit their second.
No, I was at mine last week.
Oh, were you? Okay.
I ended up taking something. I took a wound for someone, and it pushed me over the top for my second.
Me from the sale.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Nathaniel, I have a question for you.
yes.
I thought it was.
Do you think this would proc from me moving lots of barrels from one boat to the other?
Earn a hero point when you solve a problem for your crew. Yeah, that's fine. So you'll notice that the earn a hero point things are worded kind of generically. It reminds me a little bit of the Star Trek thing.
Normally, I wouldn't ask, but it's literally called Quartermaster. I moved barrels.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's fine. So, yeah, find every opportunity you can to push the can I earn a hero point thing.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. So.
Do I have anything that does that?
Well, since I'm making a personal sacrifice to ensure the freedom of ourselves, I am a pirate.
Let's see. Earn a hero point when you make a personal sacrifice to ensure the freedom of another. I mean, freedom? Yeah. I mean, you're trying to keep the crew from being captured by Avalon. You've made a personal sacrifice. You really should be, lying in a cot somewhere. Or getting sewn up and you're moving around giving out orders. So I'll allow it. So, yeah.
I do love cheese.
All right. Well, as long as we're at it, then, how about showing contempt?
I have begun a landslide.
No. You receive a hero point when your hero shows disdain, contempt, or otherwise looks down on a villain or someone who would cause harm to your friends.
I called all of these fools idiots.
Yeah, he pretty much said, okay, they've got us surrounded by a whole fleet. These dipshits won't get us in a million years.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, let's take it.
All right, cool.
I don't know, is idiot strong enough to justify that, though?
Yeah.
I was thinking about gobshites, but...
Dumb idiots.
Maybe
Jackanapes,
brigands?
maybe?
Yeah.
Brigands?
You called?
Vile cretins?
So. Anyways, I will assume that he said whatever expletives are needed.
All you hear is muffled words from where the captain is standing, and half of the crew goes, which is incredible because they're all sailors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that one SpongeBob episode.
I was about to say that.
SpongeBob for swearing. You just hear the dolphin noises. Yeah. So,
I think they actually had like an uncut, like an uncensored version of that, and it was hilarious because it wasn't actually swear words.
No, it's just random stuff. So, fun fact. I know this is totally digressing. I apologize. Fun fact: the dolphin noise in that episode is actually the sped up audio of a kookaburra, not a dolphin. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
So in that episode, they didn't even have to.
Oh, okay.
there it is.
It's because they couldn't hire a dolphin in time.
Yeah. So,
Went to the voice agency and just like, well, we got a kookaburra. They're like, we'll take it.
yeah. The dolphin unions are very frustrating to work with. So
Especially since they're unionized. It's
That's
pretty
right.
awful.
They're too smart.
No. Yeah, it's a very tricky minefield. You don't want to be dealing with them. So kookaburras will work for peanuts, really. So much easier. I actually don't know what they eat. Anyways,
Small bugs.
all right. So the ship is battle ready, and we'll see what happens. But first, we have a fourth person to talk about, and that's Jackdaw Fry. You're the next person to come to consciousness, awareness. It's hard using that word, like I said, because this isn't what you feel normally when you wake up. You're totally beside yourself, Fry. It feels like you're waking up observing yourself from outside. It's a strange feeling. And you're honestly a bit panicked. You're brought back to your senses a little bit because you can feel the speed at which your heart is racing. You feel the sensation. Water? No, it's sweat. There's sweat on your brow. Yeah, you're in the midst of something akin to like fever chills. And yeah, you feel cold. There's something hard and sharp on your appendages. Thank goodness. Well, they're all still attached at least. But there's something forcing them out and open and apart from each other. You push with what little tiny strength you think your body can muster, but it's not nearly enough. You sort of sway from side to side in whatever strange suspension you find yourself in, resisting the urge at the last moment to not puke. You're not sure exactly what puking in the inky black void you find yourself in would do. You're not even sure you're capable of it, but boy, do you feel a little bit like you need to. Focus, Fry. You're not in an inky void. You're back on the treasure ship. You're back on the ship. Yeah, that's right. Back in the moment.
I
Oh,
was
no, you're
going to
there.
ask if I know what time it was, and I guess I don't know what time it is. I have magical time sense, damn it.
So he actually does have time sense.
I do have
6:40, why do you
magical time
ask?
sense, yes. How long do I know how long it's been?
Well, sadly, you're not a vampire, and the time sense in this one, because it is a decaying world, is very generic. You know where the sun is in the sky.
I think it
always know
actually
what
is
time
how
it
it's
is.
worded.
Hold on. I always know what time it is. I know how long until the next sunrise or sunset with less than a minute margin of error.
Right.
Yeah, mine was
It is in
down
fact
to a
relation to
second.
the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Within less than a minute. Nice.
It's
Okay, anyways.
2 p.m.? But why? What does it matter? Where are we?
Exactly. You're pretty sure the sunrise is coming, but you do know that the sunrise is nearing on the deck of the Selene and the treasure ship, which is where you find yourself at the moment. And I do apologize, but could you remind me what Fry is in the midst of doing at this moment?
I don't think you assigned me something.
Okay.
No, so he went over with Reinhardt, so it'd be up to
Yes.
Reinhardt to say to him if he had any specifics. Otherwise, Dr. Fry is free to Dr. Fry.
Okay, well, in that case, then Reinhardt, in the midst of giving orders to the crew, the first order you can give out then is to Fry.
All right, Fry, how you doing?
I'm doing a lot better than you. Do you want me to take a look at that real quick? I might be.
Yeah,
able to do
I would.
something
I would
about
love a patch up once in a while. That'd be great.
it. Yeah, give me a sec.
He rummages in his bag and pulls out his stuff. Nathaniel, I have an ability called Miracle Worker.
Miracle Worker. Perhaps it was studied
Where
with the
if I
church or local shaman, but you know wounds and how to deal with them. Spend a hero point and 1 raise on your action to heal another hero. They regain 1 dramatic wound. Nice. That's awesome. I didn't know you had that.
That takes
I
me to
have
3.
1 hero point, and I have been waiting to use it. So
Okay, so it's a raise.
I
so
don't
you
have
still
any
need to
abilities
roll.
to get more. I know I have to roll,
Yeah.
but like this is
Yeah.
it.
So. Alright, yeah, the wording is weird here. They regain 1
know.
dramatic wound. I think that means, yeah, you go back
Yeah.
down. I know. Okay, so then, Fry, if you could roll wits or resolve, your choice, plus scholarship.
Okay, and I do get a bonus because
Okay.
I have 1 dramatic wound,
Mhm.
and I got a 46.
Nice. Okay, 1 to succeed. You can use the 1 raise from your miracle worker here. So Reinhardt loses that 2nd dramatic wound.
Okay.
That drops away. And the remaining 2 raises each heal 1 wound. So Reinhardt, you heal
Wow.
a dramatic wound and 2 additional wounds.
So what does that mean? So I'm at 11 right
So you
now.
would drop to 8.
You would have
We've
gone
gone
down
down
to
to
10 automatically because you would have if you were at 14 and you lost a dramatic wound, you would have went down to 10 anyway.
Wouldn't
and then-
10 be the threshold? So wouldn't I drop to 9?
Drop
I
to
guess you would drop to
9.
9, and
You
then
drop to 9
3
and then another
heals brings
2.
you to 6. Or
So 2 heals. So 7.
2 heals.
7? Okay, cool.
We meet in the middle.
Holy shit, Doc. Why don't you do this more often? God, I gotta get you more coke.
Look, I've been off the sauce for a little while, and things are starting to make a little bit of sense. But that's obviously not how I like it all the time. I can only do this every so often because I need to be painfully sober. I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to do this again.
Well, you know what? While you are conscious and everything right now, go check out the others. We need to be battle ready as soon as possible, and we took some massive hits back there.
I suppose I'll take a look at the captain first.
I think the captain could hold his own for now.
Okay, I'll check Eagle then.
And
Okay.
he rushes off to go meet Eagle.
Alright. Andre Serrano. You're the next one to awaken. And you awaken. You heal a little bit faster than your human compatriots. And actually, unlike them, you know exactly where you are. But we can't focus on that right now. Right now, you have a job to do. You need to get these bodies overboard. Lighten the load. Like Hail asked. So if you could roll for me, Brawn plus Athletics. If you'd be so kind.
I would be so kind.
Mm.
Prawn plus athletics. There it is. Bang. Bang. I'm going to use large for that.
Okay.
'Cause I'm large.
Are you
Bang.
going to use large? Can you tell us
No
what
need
large
to
is?
brag.
Oh
large. I'm
no!
a big boy.
3 1s. Oh,
You're
well.
big?
That's fine.
Do you
I've
have a
never
dramatic
heard of
wound?
this.
Do you have a dramatic wound?
Do I have a dramatic one? No.
No. Oh. Do you have sea legs?
No.
Why would Andre Serrano have sea
Yeah.
legs?
I mean,
I don't know,
to be
because
fair,
we
Keeps
see
him in
his
his other
legs all the
pants.
time.
I'll tell you what I do have. I have dog legs.
he's from
Yeah.
a Mediterranean country.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Hey, GM, can we just
That's
give him
like
a
saying-
1?
That's like saying everyone from China knows Kung Fu.
I mean, to be fair,
They
I can't
don't.
imagine that a rich boy like Serrano wouldn't have been on a boat before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not a boat
But
like
was he
this.
Yeah, was
You're
he
right, you're
ever
right, you're
on
right,
anything
you're right.
but
I've
a
been on
huge
a
liner,
whale
right?
watching ship, but I've never been on a pirate man of war.
You're right.
so,
You're right.
20.
Sorry, I was
just give
trying
him-
to help, bud.
Yeah, can we just give him like a pity point? Make it 30.
No,
It is what it
is.
We gotta play it properly.
You can spend a hero
Um,
point and get it to a 30.
I do not think I have one, do I? I do. I do.
Your one raise succeeds. You have one raise left over. You don't really have the time option at your disposal. However, you are supernatural, so I will give you a bargain. You can spend your remaining raise and take 3 wounds to get the job done this turn, or you can spend the 1 remaining raise and get it done next round.
Wait, continue to bargain with him. Bargain further. Ask him if you can roll an extra die now to take a penalty on your next roll.
Pull on his tail.
Thomas, I like that. I am going to bargain that. What do you say?
Roll an
A
extra
hamburger
die
today
now.
and pay next Tuesday? Yeah.
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 What do you say?
If I get you a
GM?
pizza, you can buy me a coffee tomorrow. Okay, you can roll an extra d10, but you'll get 1 less d10 the next time I ask you to roll something.
Understood.
Wow.
Shall I just roll a d10?
Just roll a d10, yeah.
Well, no matter what you roll, you're going to get to 30.
Unless.
He rolls a 0. Oh, 39. Okay.
Oh no! Can we give him 1 pity point?
Christian, ask him if you can roll another die now, so that and then next time.
Are you
I'm
going to make
good
him
with
lose a
10.
leg or something, dude? Like, come
The
on.
next time you roll dice, you're taking -5. How many dice you got to roll? 3?
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, you can roll another dice, but you'll lose all your limbs.
Wait, then doesn't it overflow back to 256?
I'm
That's
happy
why
with
Gandhi
this and
nukes
taking the
you.
penalty. I'm happy with
Okay.
this and taking the penalty. 39
Okay.
is fine.
Okay, then that's enough. You don't need as many races because of your supernatural speed and agility. So you get the job done this round, but next time I ask you to roll something, you will have to take a -1 on the d10.
Understood.
So that would just
Better-
be the penalty.
Like
You
1
better
less
take
die.
a dramatic wounds first.
There
The
you go.
reason I thought of that is the convenient penalty box before the bonus box.
Yeah.
You lighten the load, Andre Serrano, supernaturally fast, and you have the opportunity now to inform Hale that the ship's a little speedier than it was a moment ago.
Andre looks to find the captain. Where is the captain right now?
That's a great question.
Captain! I got rid of the bodies. Where are you?
Hale is still standing amidst the treasure ship. You can see him with his spyglass out, watching the horizon, clearly formulating just where exactly they were going. And occasionally he'll stop and he'll pull a sheet of parchment from his jacket and consult it. There's a lot of scribbles on it, and you probably recognize it as some mathematical formulas. And then he shoves it back inside of his jacket. Aye, Mr. Serrano. What you be needing? You're finished with the bodies. What about the provender? We need to lighten this boat as much as possible. Toss everything overboard we don't need, except the gold.
Yeah, everything, Serrano, everything that you could toss over except for the treasure, like you said, has been tossed over. So.
It's done, Captain.
The captain has Eagle finished his work in terms of bringing over the casks of lantern oil and so on, and a
all
single keg of
yeah.
black powder?
All the tasks are being done simultaneously. So as Andre's talking to you, Eagle's probably bringing over the last couple. So.
Very good. Give Jormungson a hand with the last few, and then bring me the keg of black powder. Need to give ourselves a little leeway.
Andre nods, having noted what you were holding, and noting the situation. He sort of backs away before walking to go take care of that, and gives a grunt when he's got his back to you.
All right. Does Serrano eventually bring me the black powder keg then?
Yeah.
That's what-
If Serrano mentioned that order to Jormungson would point it out to him for sure.
All right.
With great
Then, as
ease,
soon
he
as
carries it
soon as
over.
he has it, he orders you to keep a hold of it, Serrano. Lift it up, and then he stabs his sword into one side of the keg, turns it slightly, rips the blade back out, so that the black powder starts to fall to the deck of the ship. Now walk it back slowly to the captain's quarters and leave it there.
Are you sure?
Aye, Mr. Serrano. On with it.
Andre tucks it under his arm and walks slowly, watching the powder fall delicately to the floorboards, heading towards the captain's quarters. Confused, perturbed, but resigned. He drops the barrel in the middle of the captain's quarter and sort of stands above it, not knowing what's next.
Oh, Mr. Serrano, don't linger in there. Come on out.
Ah, right, Captain.
Mr. Jormungson, now that you're done with moving things over, I need your strength. This boat needs to turn, and it needs to move fast, and it's designed for neither of those things. But I imagine a man who can take it by the nose and twist it wherever he wants could manage something. Take the ropes, if you'd be so kind.
And Jormungson heads over to the ropes that would control the mainsail's rigging, and he gets ready for the order.
This lousy tub is going to move like it never has before. Mr. Serrano. And Hale hands you his looking glass. Keep an eye on the 45th quarter. We're going through. Mr. Reinhardt! Are we battle ready?
Aye, Captain. Battle ready, and everybody's at their stations.
Good. Let's show these fools just who they're tangling with.
Nice.
Been a while since we've had to do a cannon fight.
Too long. It does a soul good every now and then to send a few others to Davy Jones.
Andre Serrano, like I said, you know exactly where you are. The cold metal below you, the feeling of restriction on every limb, the sound of footsteps. They're still distant, but your wolf ears pick them up perfectly as if they were walking right in front of you. You don't have time to process every detail of the room for now. A shadow crosses your path. It blocks out what little tiny bit of light you have here. And you look up at whoever is casting the shadow. But first, let's declare our actions for round 2. Starting with Hale.
Hale is amid the treasure ship. It has a few cannons.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's what you described to
Yeah,
us
I
previously.
described last time, yeah.
It does
It
have
has
a few
couple.
cannons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hale kicks loose the catches on each of them and kicks them overboard. We've no use for them. We're going fast. And then he gives Eagle a heading, and he goes to the wheel.
Mhm.
And they both twist at the same time, moving with the practice of many years of working together to bring the ship about into the wind, directly behind them, tacking towards the one point of the circle that's running against the wind, and thus is moving slower than the rest. By this point, it's becoming less of a circle and more of an oblong, and there's a chance of breaking through where the ships are most scattered.
Okay, definitely. Okay, so sailing definitely sounds like the skill. As for the trait, I could take finesse, I could take resolve, I could take panache because you're directing eagle to do the
I was about to suggest
tackle.
panache,
Yeah.
because although I'm directing the wheel, it's really more about projecting
Coordinating.
confidence for the crew and
Yeah.
making the impossible seem possible.
Okay, so your role is going to be panache plus sailing, please.
All right.
So just hang on to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to ask Yormanson to declare his action next, just because the two of you were obviously linked here.
Yeah, so my action is exactly what the captain has requested of me. As he turns the wheel, I can feel the rigging fighting against the rudder.
Yeah.
So every time I feel that fight, I'm just gonna pull it along so that the captain's movements are actually being transferred through to the rigging.
Perfect. So then I will want a brawn plus sailing from you.
Understood.
Okay, and then to Reinhardt.
How far away are we from combat range?
We're within cannon shot.
Unless you're fighting somebody on the ship, but I would not advise that.
Okay. I would be kind of taking charge of the assault since the captain is preoccupied.
Yes.
And I would be holding for an opportune moment to do broadside cannon fire.
Right. Okay.
And kind of like directing as well as doing my own.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, I want aim for the skill and finesse or resolve. Your choice.
Okay. Would this come into play?
You gain 1 bonus die when you make an aim risk using a pistol, blunderbuss, or a thrown weapon such as a knife, axe. Yeah, this is a gun. This is a ship gun. I'll allow it.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, cannons are just really big pistols.
Yeah.
That was aim and finesse? Okay.
Aim and finesse, please. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
That's about
Fry.
correct, Thomas.
Yeah.
Especially in these days,
Yeah.
they really are pretty much the same, just scale.
Technically, pistols are small cannons.
Oh, there you go.
No, I don't follow that one. What would Fry do? I was originally running off to go see if I can help Eagle. I guess it's where I would want to go, but I wouldn't know where to go during combat unless it's somewhere safe.
Right. So.
Because I'm not
yes.
getting involved in any of this cannon fire.
Yeah. So because this is Abby's simultaneously, you can now tell that Eagle and Hale are starting to. First of all, the ships are detaching, right? Because up till now they've been apart. And I'm understanding that correctly. Yes, Chris? Hale is intending to steer the treasure ship away from the Selene. So the two are going to be severed in a moment. So
yes and no. We're going to be going in the same direction.
One behind the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We're kind of in the wake of the.
We're gonna cut that off and use that as a tow bomb kind of thing, right?
Right. So,
well, the other ship's going to go in front of us, basically blow up the way through, and then we're going to sail through.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
That's why I'm the first mate.
Yeah.
It's still a tow bomb. It's just not behind you.
Mr. Reinhardt knows how I'm thinking.
Exactly. Kirk needs that on a t-shirt now. That's why I'm the first mate. Love it. Beautiful. Okay. That's exactly right. That's exactly the plan. So Fry, so you might not be apprised of that situation, but at the moment Eagle is occupied, so you might not be able to get to him and get back to the Selene if they're going to go profile. So
we are probably expecting return fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but as I said in chat, cannon combat's going to mostly end with having to do no medical work.
Yeah, unless someone gets a cannon through their leg or something, and then there's no leg there anymore.
Well, there's still the possibility of it makes impact on the ship, and a whole bunch of chips fly. Either somebody gets a chip in the eye or gets, in the stomach, and there's still something to be done about that.
Yeah, you could do something equivalent to like a defer roll and just say like if blah, then all.
Yeah, I would be watching then in what we could potentially deem as some kind of cover, near enough to the action potentially to help somebody who needs it at the first sign that they do.
Nice. Okay, so then I'll take that into account. In which case, I'll still have you roll, but I'll just have you resolve it when it's necessary. In which case, I'll
Ooh,
have you roll.
Actually, you know
Yep.
what I would.
Okay.
You know what I would potentially want to do. I want to go to our armory and grab a black powder pistol and load it. I don't carry a gun, but I feel like right now might be a good idea.
Okay. Is that in lieu of prepping something, or is
That
this
is in
something
lieu
that
of
you're-
prepping something. I am going to quickly slip down and come back up and have that be something I'm trying to do fast, even though loading a pistol like that is not going to be fast.
Okay.
5 minutes later.
Yeah. Okay, I accept
Basically.
an action, but there's no risk involved, so you don't need to roll this round.
Okay.
So, and then Serrano.
I think this is one of the opportunities that Andre actually hesitates
Right.
and doesn't know what to do because
Right.
he can't tell what they're preparing for.
Right.
War.
Doesn't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So he
You
hesitates.
know what's good for,
he
though?
hesitates this round, Nathaniel.
He hesitates this round. Okay, interesting. Okay,
Which means
you're hesitating.
which means
Which means
I
I
receive
see. He's getting a hero point
He
here.
procs a point.
which means I
You
get a
should
hero.
you should make him roll to see how well he hesitates. So
You tried.
panache.
Yeah, you tried to.
So,
Hesitate. You accidentally
so-
did exactly the right thing.
let's
Yeah,
see. Panache plus
Only.
temp.
right and decisive. You receive a hero point when your hero takes an action to pause in hesitation, doubt, or uncertainty before she makes a move. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then take your hero point. You hesitate.
I've done it.
As for everyone, so Fry and Serrano do not need to roll this round. The other three, if you could roll the stats I gave you, please. $55.
Oof.
Oh,
6. 2 ones.
I'm waiting for the 3 10s.
And 39. Okay.
Okay.
can we give him a pity point?
Oh.
That's the new joke.
Oh, did he?
Can we just round to the nearest
Yeah.
tens?
Yeah.
So like 55 rounds up to 60, 36 rounds up to 40.
Like you have to do now, right? There's no pennies, so you have to go up to the nearest 5 or 10. So, okay. So we'll start with Jormungson then. The sales. Okay, 1 raise means you succeed. You have 4 raises left over. Holy cow.
Jeez.
Okay. So,
How fast did that boat go, though?
yeah. It's tearing a line. It's tearing a line in here. So,
It's like One Piece in here.
sand
Wait.
fast.
That boat's fast. No one
Mm.
said this.
I didn't know about that. First I've heard of it.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I will give you an interesting choice here, Eagle.
Ooh, fun.
You can spend all 4 of those raises, and the treasure ship, as we've dubbed it, is, as Kirk has written, Sanic Fast. It hits the one part of the circle with blazing speed. The cannons aren't able to center on it in time. It catches whatever unlucky ship happens to be in its way, totally off guard. You know, and you know what's coming, flame and fire and all of that good stuff. However, you will take a licking, bailing from this boat.
Mm.
Quite a licking. Every raise you spend not preventing yourself from taking a licking will mean that an enemy ship might have that much better a chance at getting a shot in or something equivalent before the ship manages to hit the line.
Right. Gotcha. Let me think for a second. All right. I have a question. Is there any way, if instead of using some of my raises to save myself from damage, I could use some of my raises to actually help the captain get back to the ship without taking damage?
Absolutely.
So I would like to split the difference. I would like to use 2 of my raises for speed
Mhm.
and 1 of my extra raises to help the captain back to the Selene safely. Sorry,
Okay.
2 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 and 2. Okay, duly noted. Very good. I would like you, Jormungson, to take 3 wounds.
Oh boy, my 3rd dramatic wound.
What does
Wow.
that give you?
What's the negative on that? Yeah.
No, it's a
No, it's a
positive. that
positive.
It's
time.
positive. All my
Oh.
10s explode.
So now,
Oh,
so,
that's the exploding tens. Okay.
yeah. So now, if he rolls a 10, he gets to keep rolling that 10 over and over again until it's not a 10.
Yeah,
Well,
and you add it.
Keep adding it and keep adding it.
Yep.
But he can also real soon.
Oh, perhaps. Perhaps
Yeah.
not.
Maybe not.
That's why it's
Okay.
literally a double-edged sword.
You no longer become helpless when you have 4 dramatic wounds. Instead, when you have
Oh my
4, against
God.
a villain takes a risk against you, gains 3 bonus dice, you gain an additional tier of wounds. When you've taken your 5th dramatic wound, you become helpless. Yes.
That's amazing.
I think I would just keep doing this dramatic shit if I was about to die. Probably, but I'm not willing to die that soon.
Look, you still got 10 more health. You're fine.
Yeah.
You only need 1.
Yep, there you go. All right, thank you, Jormungson. You have helped the captain back to the ship that much faster.
Insane.
Speaking of which, Hale, you are next. You have 3 raises. 1 makes you succeed. Now, Jormungson has put 2
Succeed
raises.
at sailing.
Win at yelling. Jormungson has put 2 raises towards you getting off of this ship before it is so much flaming wreckage.
Much appreciated.
So that makes it even easier for you. You can spend your 2 remaining raises to absolutely escape this ship scot-free back to the Selene. Or you can take a little bit of a licking, maybe, and make sure that the ship hits its goal.
The thing that Hale is looking out for is that the other 2 people with him make it off the boats. So, just as Jormungson is putting his efforts towards paving the path for Hale, Hale is looking to say, how do I blow this boat up without killing everyone here? So, I'd like to actually negotiate a different sense here. And I had Serrano give us basically a fuse made of black powder.
Oh.
I want
Okay.
to spend my raises on making sure that that fuse blows at just the right time and everyone makes it out.
Right, a timing thing. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. Yeah, I accept.
And then I will take 2 wounds.
Please do. So.
If
Very
only we
good.
had someone with finance to help with this.
Wait,
Our
what?
quartermaster, of course.
Well, it is a treasure ship if you think about it.
Mm.
You can steer them a
Okay.
lot better if you know banking.
Okay, Reinhardt, 3 raises, 1 to succeed. You have 2 left. Interesting. Okay, so basically the choice I'm going to give you is what you aim for. If you aim for the enemy's, let's call them the cannon area, like where you can see the cannons jutting out, if you hit there, you reduce their ability to fire back at the Selene and prevent future damage. Or you can aim for the sails and make sure that ship cannot get out of the way. Or whatever. Like it'll, be stuck. Unable to maneuver, unable to get a better advantage point.
Hmm.
What a part.
So it was either take out the cannons or take out the sails. And what was the benefit to taking out the sails?
The ship can't move.
Oh, right, yeah. I think go for the cannons.
I think that's a good choice. Okay. Your shot, as well as the coordinated shots of several other crew members, ring out from the side of the Selene. A broadside fires off and sink and hits one of the Avalon ships in its side. You can see wood explode, the cries of men as some of them fall out of newly made holes that weren't there a moment ago. At least one cannon sort of tips over the edge, and metal and wood and blood fly everywhere. With a satisfying ring out and shatter. So, and that ship will not be combat effective, not in any threatening way. So.
Do we have it in the budget to hear a couple of Wilhelm screams?
I actually can do a pretty accurate Wilhelm scream, but it will get cut off by the mic.
Yeah.
By Discord.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, just go for it anyways, Christian. Maybe it won't.
If I go to the other side of the room, it'll work probably.
Yeah. You gotta be careful because we could get sued. Who owns that scream?
I think it's actually
Wilhelm.
It's public domain.
It should be
public domain.
Yeah, probably.
It should be open source.
Let me see if I could actually do it.
Oh boy.
If you're reproducing it yourself, though, that's different, right? It would be different from the copyrighted one.
No, but
this is a reproduction.
That is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's the problem. Christian's is too close, so we're definitely gonna get
content matched.
Oh no!
How was that? Did that come through?
Yeah, it did, and it was good.
Hang on, let me just audio jungle. It'll be fine.
Hey, there you go. Thomas, you always got our back.
Yeah. Fry, you run down to the armory, grab yourself a pistol, load it, get the powder in place, all that good stuff. It's not your usual practice to carry one of these around, but you know how to use it. You know how to fight when the need arises. You do what you need to do, and you get back up to where you were before. You have an opportunity to say something if you'd like to Reinhardt, or just sort of out loud to whoever will listen.
Well said.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I need to wait for my next turn to do something like that.
Okay, fair enough. Meanwhile, Serrano, you are, like you said, just kind of hesitating. You look at the other pirates, decisive, quick, moving in battle, and honestly unrelenting. Their reaction in the face of so much adversity was to man the guns, to rush the line. Maybe there's some aspect of you that's inspired. I won't put thoughts into your mind or words into your mouth, but anyways, Serrano for the moment is just observing, just where he is. So, which is, by the way, if you could remind me, physically, you are still on the treasure ship?
Yeah, but noting that the movement is to get back towards our ship, right?
Right.
So I'm probably noting that everyone is getting the hell out of Dodge.
Hale will call out when he lights the fuse, as it were, and tell his boys to bail.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you lit the fuse at this point, or are you about to light the fuse?
It depends on our proximity to another ship.
Right.
Eagle and I are steering directly for the ship closest to us at this point of the circle, such that it go on fire and the Selene go through.
Eagle spent 2 races on speed, so you will be in proximity in the next round.
Then I am lighting the fuse.
Okay.
Since I have already negotiated that it will take exactly the right amount of time.
That's right.
Damn. I just realized we left all the treasure on this boat. This is a fucking shrapnel bomb. This is the biggest shrapnel bomb ever created.
That's why we couldn't take the gold.
Yeah. Not all the treasure. Hale's got the orb.
We don't know that.
Which no one knows about, yeah.
I mean, at a loss. I think Andre basically looks for a tool, a sword, something heavy and hard that he could grab and hold on to use as something to throw or whack with.
Okay. I don't think there's a shortage of that unless you toss them all overboard at this point. Maybe you kept one for yourself. So
unsure.
The system is very lenient when it comes to equipment. So I'll just say
Right.
that you kept a sword or something equivalent to it aside for yourself, just in case.
Okay, so then if the fuse is lit,
Mm-hmm.
Andre will climb onto our ship, the Selene.
Very good. Okay. The fuse is lit and it is starting to count down, which then brings us to round 3. Hail.
The fuse is lit. It's time to leave.
Time to leave. Okay.
But before I go, I'm going to lock the wheel in place.
Right.
Disconnect it from the rudder, such that we're not changing course from this point on. We're locked into collision.
Gotcha. Brawn or finesse plus sailing.
Can do.
Okay. Reinhardt. We're at the top of round 3 now. That's true.
The fuse has been lit.
Both literally and metaphorically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Only I'm allowed to
No.
count down, Richard.
No, you're not. You're not even allowed to count down. That's just mean. I would try and continue to fire until the last moment, and then basically tell everybody to hit the decks.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Because if this is a shrapnel bomb, it flies everywhere.
Yeah. Trying to take control of the ship, cutting the rudder means yeah. Let's see. Okay, I want.
Also, Richard, thank you for finishing the countdown.
Yeah, it would have been aggravating if you had left it at 5.
I had to finish it. I didn't actually. Got to get.
Let's do. Can we? I know this is a weird roll, but can we do resolve plus weaponry, please?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So weaponry because it's cannon fire, and also and then resolve because you and the crew are now sort of battening down the hatches, bracing for the coming explosion.
Okay.
So.
Because not to question your pick, but weaponry tends to be melee weaponry.
That is true. But you're right. Aim is ranged weapons. Okay. That's true. Can we do resolve plus aim then? That actually makes more sense.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Sorry, the wording is confusing. I was like, weapons.
I know.
That's weapons, right? When you're right, that's like swords and things.
Yeah, it should be melee versus ranged, but there's another system that uses that, so they had to be different.
Yeah, they had to be different. It's whatever. Jormungson.
All right. Well, the fuse is lit, so Jormungson, I guess, ties off the ropes to the first thing possible and gets ready to jump back.
Okay, could I have from you finesse and athletics or sailing, your choice.
What the finesse for? This is not a roll to jump.
So to get back, it's a dexterity.
Definitely not an athletics roll, no.
So yeah, athletics is fine. I said athletics or sailing.
Oh, true. Right. Brawn?
Finesse, please.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And just for the record, just to abstract the fact that I was helping the captain get back, something I would normally never do, I am going to throw the captain.
So
I'll deal with the consequences later.
Captain tossing. Okay.
Yep.
I don't think that changes my role, except I think I will lock you in at finesse plus
Yeah,
athletics.
absolutely. Like I said, that was just to abstract what I did last round.
Right. Fry. Remember, these are all happening simultaneously, so you know the fuse is lit.
Thomas, if you have Deadeye in
maybe you
your
could start to see
character,
it.
do you get a +1 bonus die when you throw the captain?
Don't have so guess it doesn't really matter.
No, you should. You're a pirate.
But I'm the Viking pirate. They're a little different.
Yeah,
okay.
I let Thomas pick the Viking version, which was called Sovior or whatever. So
I see.
you can get
Okay.
Deadeye. Yeah.
Have the other ships started firing at us? We're shooting, but have they?
Yeah, all of the Avalon ships are shooting. Like, you guys are in... I guess I haven't made that particularly clear, but, like, all of the Avalon ships are attacking. It's just that they're all in a giant ring. Like, when I say, like, they're... Like, boats have to keep a certain distance, so they're all firing. Most of the shots are just landing into water. Only the boats immediately in front of you are really relevant. And one of them has now had their weapons disabled by Reinhardt, and maybe there's 2 others that could potentially threaten the ship.
Okay. Can I use my Eagle Eyes ability to see if I can spy a potentially more dangerous cannonball heading towards somebody on the crew, make a call and save their life, possibly? Just do something in order to, if there's a couple ships that are in a more dangerous proximity, maybe get better calls out of them. So I think I'd like to kind of play a Vanguard on that one then.
Okay.
Yeah, you know where you see a sniper when you're already dead. That scope shot. Exactly. I want to use my telescope and be like, "You're dead. You're gonna die, man."
No, the point was that you see the cannonball coming out, and you're like, "Oh, I can see. Oh, it's getting closer.
It's getting
no,
bigger.
No. You do forget one important thing. Jackdaw Fry is incredibly fast.
Oh,
This
he's
is the first.
fast?
This is the first.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought the treasure ship was fast.
But
Okay,
I want to play Sentry on that kind of thing then.
Yeah, no problem. Wits plus notice, please.
Okay.
And then Serrano.
You might be muted.
Thank you.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, Boo.
Andre is back on the Selene.
Not unless you're making it for it. Eagle and Hale are jumping, so you should probably do the same.
Okay, then I will do that.
Okay. You're just gonna do like a leap in the air kind of jump.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
With a
Awesome.
penalty.
Yes, 1 less D10.
What a time for that penalty to kick in. Just a quick question before we do our rolls. Does Serrano know how to swim?
I don't know.
He landed in the water, didn't he?
Well,
When
he could probably.
No, he landed on the deck.
Oh,
I was on the deck. I appeared on the deck.
He probably is pretty good at the doggy paddle, though.
like
true.
Terminator. He showed up on the deck
Sorry.
like Terminator.
Sorry. We'll paddle.
I need your clothes, your boots,
You
Your
pirate
shirt.
ship.
your hat. All right, so I'm jumping, Nathaniel. What's that going to be?
It's going to be finesse and athletics, please, with 1 less D10. Okay. Everyone has to declare what they're doing. Oh.
Could I, at this very moment, actually use a hero point to give him 3 extra D10s? Or do I have to wait till he's rolling?
As an assist?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to throw them both.
Okay.
One in each
Roll.
hand. Just
One in each hand. Okay, so Andre, instead of taking a -1 when the penalty
Thank you.
shows up, take a +2.
+2. Why don't I input the? Okay, yeah. Okay,
Do whatever you want. You get 2 extra dice.
bonus, yeah.
yeah.
Whatever you want to do. All right, everyone has inputted what they're doing, so if you could roll, that'd be awesome.
Oh, no
Oh my
tens.
God.
Bummer.
And myself and
51!
hey, so Captain Hale got an additional 2 he doesn't need there. Can I get those additional 2?
Nice.
Share and share alike.
Now, Kirk, you can do that if on the next time you get a 2, you have to give it up.
Oh boy, I'm not getting this
you've made
weird
a
dice
deal with the
trading
devil
thing.
here.
We've opened a real
Nathaniel,
can of worms.
just rule that only Serrano gets that because he's supernatural.
Yeah. He's the
Trade
guest.
He's
He's the
no trade
guest.
backs.
He's the special guest. He gets the bonus, the better bedroom.
Oh, sorry,
I don't-
Fry got 51.
I don't
Sorry,
make the
I'm sorry. You
rules.
said Thomas getting 50s. I just immediately assumed that was Jormanson who got
Yeah,
the 50s.
the brawn normally plays into that.
That's because I'm a
Yeah.
Jedi.
Yeah. Serrano's next with the 50. Then Jormanson and Reinhardt are tied, so I'll let Reinhardt resolve his action first, and then he
That
will
might
be at the
be
end.
really good, actually, if I go first, then, huh? If that's what I'm doing?
Since you're calling anyways, that makes perfect sense to me. Okay,
Absolutely.
so you got
Absolutely.
5 raises, 1 to succeed. You have 4 left over. Damn. So
And I
What I will
convert
let
any
you-
of those into hero points.
what I will let you do is I will let you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you the choice. There are 2 cannons coming towards the ship that you can spot out. If you spend all 4 raises, you can dodge the cannon that's going to land near you and avoid the damage thereby. If you spend the raises on the other person, it doesn't really matter who. It's some other member of the crew or a couple members of the crew. Actually, no. Let's say for interest's sake, let's say it's where Jormanson, Serrano, and Hale would land as they're jumping, because all of it's happening simultaneously, right?
Right.
Let's say it's in that spot. You notice a cannon's going to hit somewhere in that area. You can spend all your raises to call that, and Eagle will be able to adjust his throw just before he does so, and his jump, so that they avoid that area. However, the cannon will land near you, and you'll take a real nasty licking. Or you can split the races between those 2 spots as you wish.
You're muted, Christian. But I know you said something funny.
What's it gonna be, Rich?
What's it gonna be, boy?
Can I do 1 and 3?
Let me sleep on it.
You can split them as much as you wish. 1
I'll
and
take
3.
1
Which
and
way?
I'll give them 3.
Okay. Excellent. Thank
Can
you.
you do halfies? Like,
Yeah.
No, I'm not
0.5
splitting it.
and
I need
3.5.
other. I'm the doctor. I need other people to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, I would like you, Fry, to take 3 wounds.
I'm okay.
And Hale, Serrano, and Jormanson, you'll take 1 wound each.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, Fry just calls out as Eagle. If you want to call out a Richard in character as Eagle's kind of doing his thing.
Captain!
And Hale doesn't bother to respond. He dodges.
Dodge.
Smash Bros character, he got that air dodge.
So yeah, a little bit.
Captain Hale!
Okay, Serrano, you got 5 raises. So you've already taken a little bit of damage from that cannon. 1 to succeed. You have 4 left over.
Mm-hmm.
You have enough raises. The real consequence was here. Like, if you had rolled low enough, you might have ended up in the drink. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. So, I think the only real I think the only real consequence here is that. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you, rather than giving you avert a bad thing. I'm going to give you a chance to do something cool instead. So here we go.
Oh, yeah.
You can spend all 4 raises and just like do a little tuck roll as you get onto the ship. You take a little bit of shrapnel damage, but whatever, you're a werewolf, you'll regen. And you're good. And you're good, you're cool, you're safe for now. Everything's honky dory. Or you can spend as many raises as you want to spin and swat the cannonball back towards the ship that fired it, volleyball style. It's gonna hurt a little bit.
Daniel, I thought you were giving him a choice. It doesn't sound like you've given him a choice at all.
Didn't I negotiate that we were getting set up to escape the ship well? Sounds like those 2 raises I spent went nowhere.
What do you mean?
You're using your reflector from Star Fox.
He's still ending up in a lot of danger.
He's not in any danger. He's taking a tiny little bit of shrapnel damage from a misplaced cannon.
All right.
And I told he in fact he has no consequence this roll, Chris, because of that. Right.
I see.
It's a choice between being perfectly fine and only taking damage that he will naturally regenerate from, or doing something cool and having advantage.
I see.
So,
very good then.
So actually, I have taken your roll into account.
Plus, he's a werewolf, and he can take a couple hits better than a regular squishy human can.
Why are they shooting cannonballs made out of foam at our
I'd
werewolf?
like to see the captain slap a cannonball back at a ship all the way.
Be careful what you wish for. This guy shot a storm cloud out of the sky.
I'd like to see it. That's what I said.
If I can speak, I'm gonna give this a bit of flavor, Nathaniel, because you know what I'm choosing.
Yeah.
Andre Serrano trained with one of the flashiest people ever to be a superhero, and almost as if like subconscious instinct kicked in even deeper down than like his animal instincts as a werewolf. He sees a glimmer, a gleam in the sky that moves, and mid jump extends his arm and bats it right back
Nice.
at where it came from.
Nice.
And yes, takes damage by doing it, but the pain he's learnt is well worth what it does.
Yeah, there's nothing more than aches and pains. Not enough to actually give you a wound. So, as Chris is right, he's invested raises.
I love you.
So
you've given me a gift on this day.
You're absolutely welcome, man. I think it's cool as crap. I
wonder where he learned it from. Sounds like a really handsome guy.
The cannonball does not touch down before Serrano is able to punt it back towards the ship that had the audacity to shoot at the Selene. And the cannonball makes contact with some wood, some metal, and a couple of squishy people. They will think twice before firing another cannonball in that direction. There's a cry of pain and agony and surprise, and a sound of shattering wood and metal sliding around from a nearby ship, which perhaps none of the others managed to pick up in the cacophony of battle, but you certainly do on your keen ears. So
amazing.
Okay. Reinhardt got 3 raises and 1 to succeed. The other 2 are let's see, you've disabled the cannons at this point. Okay, so you have 2 raises left over. Similar choice as last time. You can let me think how I want to word this. you can it's the same option basically, but on the ship on the other side. So if you can imagine the two ships are going towards one side of this circle. So there's basically 3 ships that matter. The one that the now on fire ship is going to collide with, and then the 2 ships on either side. One of them you've disabled the weapons on. The other one's now been damaged because Serrano's punted a cannonball back towards them. But they're not out of action, and so I'll give you the same sort of idea. You can go for their cannons and prevent them from getting another hit on, or you can go for their sails and eliminate their maneuverability.
All right, men. One ship down, about face. When ready, take aim. Fire. And aim for their cannons.
Nice. There's a ring of eyes that ring out in front of you, Serrano, as all the cannons ignite and fire across in unity. They hit the broadside of the other Avalon ship in perfect sync and cause massive damage. Again, this screams and shouts of men in surprise as they drop in pain or death, fly out of areas that are now more holy than they were before. Cannons slide out from the nests they had into the water below to be lost to the waves. And effectively neutralizing the 2 ships on either side of you as the now on fire treasure ship begins to careen with the edge of the Avalon Circle. So, well, that's what it sounds like. Headshot. And finally, Jormungson. You have also 3 lasers. Yes. So, there's no cannibals for you to punt, unfortunately.
If there were, I could have done it. Don't worry, I could have done it.
Yeah,
he got the only one. He got the only one. I had to sort of adjust my throw, so I was like not in the trajectory. But I could have done it.
You just take one from our side and you punt
totally.
it.
Yeah, I just shot put.
You throw the captain at a cannonball.
You shoot a storm cloud. You have 2 raises left over after your success, of course. I'll give you an opportunity once again to shelter your fellow crew members from even the minimal shrapnel that might be remaining. So again, not necessarily a consequence, just an opportunity. You can spend the 2 raises, and I'll negate the 1 damage you took earlier. Or you can spend the 2 raises, and I'll negate the 1 damage onto either Serrano or Hale, your choice.
All right. We will negate the damage that Hale took earlier.
All right. So Hale, your landing is danger free. Or
Tuck and roll.
So yeah, since you already took that, you can unmark 1 wound.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So just one of the natures of this all happening simultaneously. So,
Cool.
So.
Very cool.
And yeah, Eagle basically, like, he lands hard on the deck. He probably broke a plank where he lands. And he sits up. His beard has come, like, unbraided, and it's just all a mess of tangled hair and blood. And, like, one of his arms is dangling. His shoulder's definitely dislocated. And he just looks up to where Serrano is, fucking amazed that he just watched him swat a cannonball over. And he just just like a deep belly laugh and yells, "The meat in the Great Hall will be flowing tonight."
Very cool. Imagine, if you will, gentlemen, the camera switching to an aerial view. The treasure ship is now definitely a fire ship, fully set ablaze, just as Hale had imagined in his mind. And it careens towards a poor, unsuspecting Avalon ship, which is not fast enough nor maneuverable enough now to get out of its way. The ship collides with the other ship, and in the moment, there's a grand explosion. Well, The explosion begins. There's fire, there's a bursting, there's the sound of wood crunching and beginning to bend. And as Reinhardt is instructed, and as the three men who jump back on the ship are ready for, everyone hits the deck, ready to avoid the shrapnel, get out of dodge, and watch the Selene sail into the sunset. The explosion stops. And Fry, you're already kind of spotting out, so you're the first one to kind of get back up a little bit and open one eye, and you notice the ships in front of you, they've stopped. Cold. And cold is indeed the correct word. The ships are no longer burning red and white with the intensity of flame, but they're glowing. They're glowing a strange blue and white. And there's a massive amount of steam and smoke rising, like someone's puffed out a candle very, 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 very fast. And the whole area, soon the main deck of the Selene is completely shrouded in smoke, just from the intensity of a fire that's been put out, like someone went right over top of it. And all of you probably instinctively just cough a little bit from the intensity of the smoke, blinded for a second, your eyes tearing up a little bit. And then there's another sensation each of you feel. Cold. Chilling cold. You don't feel like the Selene is even going across the rolling waves of the sea anymore. Even as the sun begins to rise over the horizon and light begins to shine across the Avalon fleet and the Selene breaking through part of the circle, there's no sense of warmth with the dawn. Only chill. Only ice. And those of you with enough mind to get up and stun and look around, or perhaps look down, you see a darkness cast across the Selene. It can't possibly be clouds. There's no cloud in the sky. It was a bright and clear night. It can't possibly still be the smoke from the flame. That's past. That's gone now. No, but there's still a darkness across the deck of the ship. And in a moment, you realize what it is. It's a shadow. Someone's shadow. Being projected 100-fold across the entire length of the ship, and indeed across part of the sea as well. And the shadow is terrifying to behold. It's a strange, unnatural, unhuman shape. You can see the edges of horns, the points on either side of where the head should be. And a strange aura surrounds the shadow. And the chill. The chill is the last thing you remember. And the chill is enough for the four of you who were suspended by chains, you realize. Suspended by chains, cold, hard metal chains, to finally come aware to your surroundings. Oh, it's still dark, because there's no light in a prison cell. Not right now, anyways. But as your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, and as your body begins to come back into itself, and the aches and pains begin to become obvious, you realize you've been chained to the side of a stone-cold wall. Slightly suspended, of course, is a bit of give so that you can move a little bit, but any kind of sharp movement's going to be caught. And you can start to see the shapes of those around you, of Hale and Reinhardt and Fry and Jormungson. You don't see anyone else. You fear to think what's happened to them. And the four of you just barely make each other out, but at the moment, none of you are strong enough to speak. But it's pretty obvious. The shiver in your bodies only intensified by the fact that as you sort of look down at yourselves, you realize that you're basically just in like a loincloth, a piece of fabric that's been stretched around your pelvic region area for decency, but otherwise you're still shivering, and it's not just out of nervousness or uncertainty or pain. It's definitely a cold. And Fry, being the medical man here, you've definitely identified, you're probably suffering a little bit from hypothermia. Some of the pain you were feeling on your extremities, you realize now, is almost certainly frostbite. Whew. Oh, you're definitely going to need something really warm soon, or those limbs could be lost. But Andre Serrano, you're not nearly as disoriented. You're alone, obviously in a different cell because you can't see the other 4 gentlemen. And you're chained, but your chains aren't the same kind of hard iron. No, you recognize your chains for what they are. Silver. Lined with silver. You're poisoned. You feel weak and stuck. But someone's been kind enough to at least light your cell a little tiny bit. So when the shadow of a man steps in front of the bars of your cell, when the man smiles at you with an eerie, sort of satisfied grin, when his eyes glow white with an unnatural glow, you understand exactly who you're in front of. Hello, Andre Serrano. Been a while. It's nice to see you again. And we'll take our break there, gentlemen. See you in 10.
Nice.
Spoilers.
So we have left Andre Serrano staring down a familiar voice, at least Andre, although not a familiar face. The face that greets you at the moment actually is one of a jolly and plump-looking man of the British Isles. He's got sort of a slight sort of widow's peak underneath a very fancy sort of sailor's hat, like sort of an admiral's hat kind of thing. He wears the bright uniform of an Avalon aristocrat, and his gait and sort of puffiness of his cheeks portrays a man who eats well and doesn't do a lot of manual labor. And he gives you a sly smile again. Ah, Andre Serrano. It's a pleasure to meet you again. And the man walks through the metal bars of your cell into the room. So, and just so you understand, Christian, Serrano is actually chained in such a way that he is sort of forced into like a kneel on the floor. So you're sitting on your legs, and your arms are chained in such a way that you're kind of like they're pushed out at sort of like a sort of 30-degree angle with the ground. So the chains are like embedded in the ground, and they've pushed your arms away from your torso on either side. And then you're chained around the legs and around the waist in such a way that you're kind of forced in like a permanent like squat, like you're sitting on your legs, like I said. So
Got it.
you're able to look up, like you can move your upper torso and your neck and such, but the rest of you are strapped in.
And the silver is forcing me into human form.
Yeah, you're in human form because the chains are lined with silver.
Yeah.
So it's also hurts a lot. Like you realize that the pain you're feeling in your extremities is like because silver's poison to you, so you're definitely suffering from sort of a burning sensation.
Mm-hmm.
So the plump, jolly-looking man steps through the bars, passes right through them, and sort of stands inside the cell, looks down at you. Though I must admit, you were a bit hairier the last time I saw you. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance yet again. And you don't recognize his face, like I said, Ashore, but there's no mistaking that voice. You've heard it before.
I see you know better than to just chain me with any old metal.
Got to be careful. You were the feistiest one when we captured the Selene.
He weakly tugs on the chains just to see. Is it just me here?
No, the rest of your friends are being kept in another cell just down the hallway. Try to keep you close to your friends, as for
Which
that matters.
friends?
Oh, Captain Hale, was it? You should be thanking me. If any other aristocrat across there had captured Hale, he'd probably already be on the chopping block.
I'm sure you're well established.
Oh, very well established. I've been working hard to build my reputation here. That's interesting. You show the right people a couple little diplomatic secrets. You make sure the right people are killed to make the right friends. One world's very much like another.
Where is everyone else? From the tower.
Now you're asking the interesting questions. And Duke Grim, reverts from the plump, jolly British lord, which he has often used as his moniker here, back into his elvish form. The pale skin, the pointed ears, and the sort of white, cold eyes. And he sort of like gargoyle squats in front of you, like he crouches down to make eye contact with you. Well, they're not here. I can tell you that much.
Why are you here?
Me? Oh, I have a mission to do. I have a job to do. And in a moment, you will as well. Actually have a bit of a proposition for you, Mr. Serrano.
Out with it.
Glad you're willing to hear reason. Well, you see, your Captain Hale has done something very interesting. He's quite a little trinket. I don't know if he really understands what he's managed to obtain, although I'm sure he's heard the rumours. This world, like all others, have their nighttime tales and their boogeymen and all of that. Well, there are other artifacts like it. 3, in fact. 3 like it. Nothing else. On this planet, there are 3 orbs like it. You see, Captain Hill's managed to obtain 1, and I'm very close to obtaining the second one through some political favours. But the third one eludes me. I know generally where it is, but, well, they don't like my kind. Can you imagine? Managed to find a world where there's fairy. They're called something else here. The She, I believe. Interesting creatures.
Well, I hope you don't find that orb then.
Oh, on the contrary, I probably won't find the orb. And he leans a little bit closer. Close enough that as he exhales, you can feel sort of a chilling breath. Because you and the crew of the Selene are going to find it for me, Mr. Serrano.
What makes you think I'm agreeing?
He stands up again and just kind of cocks his head like you said something absolutely absurd. Well, simple. If you agree, then I'm willing to bargain in place. If you fetch this orb from me, from, I will admit, a pretty dangerous location, I will ensure that the crew of the Selene, and anyone else who you might have grown attached to on this world will come under no direct harm from my hand. And I'll throw in a bonus. I'll even help you get out of here. Seems like a fair deal to me.
he leans forward, tugging even harder on the chains to get as close as possible, stretching out his neck to get right up to, I guess he'd be up to Duke Grimm's stomach, but looking up at him with a deep scowl, says, I want to make this perfectly clear. Whether these idiots live or die, you won't.
He tilts his head to one side. I'm sure that sounded cooler in your head, Mr. Serrano. Not really living or dying. It's not how fairy work. But I don't take your threat as idle. So, do we have an accord then?
If you get me out of these chains, I'll find that orb.
Very reasonable. I'm so glad we could come to an understanding. And he flashes you the most unnerving smile you've ever seen. And another moment, there's an intense pain just above your chest, where you would probably, place your hand to feel your heartbeat. And there's a burn, not a hot burn, like a coal or a flame or a hot oven, but the exact opposite. Like you've touched the coldest ice cube, or you've made skin contact with liquid nitrogen. Ugh, and it burns for a moment, and then the pain is gone, and you gaze down, and a small little rectangular slot of your fur has been burned away, and it's not growing back. And on the sort of fleshy patch underneath, you see what looks like runes of some sort. Runes written out in a language you can't read. Burned in with some sort of frighteningly hot cold, I'll describe it as. Sort of, the pain subsides after a moment, but the mark remains like a tattoo. A simple reminder of our agreement. I hope I don't have to tell you what fairy do to someone who breaks their promises.
Break promises? What do you mean?
You've made a deal with me, Mr. Serrano. Retrieve the orb. Don't do anything silly now.
I'm gonna get that orb.
Good. I'll be back to release you in just a moment. I want to check in on your friends and make sure they're okay. Doesn't matter what world we seem to go to. Humans are so fragile, aren't they, Andre?
You might be even more fragile.
Like you. I like you, Wolfie. I'll be back with some raw meat or whatever you need, and maybe something to wear. Probably don't want to go back onto the high seas stark naked. And he turns and walks back through the bars and disappears down the corridor. As he does so, as he disappears, you can see him morphing back into the jolly British aristocrat he first appeared as.
And Andre sort of slumps forward.
With that in mind, we turn to our other four gentlemen. At this point, guys, you have, again, come to. You are now fully aware. Your eyes have adjusted, your muscles have adjusted, and you've been chained up against walls, basically. So you're in a big rectangular cell, and each of you have sort of been chained to one part of the wall in such a way. So basically, what's happened is you have a big metal, like, belt, basically, across your, hips or waist that's sort of attached you to the wall. And then your arms, your wrists, I should say, have been shackled on chains, and the chains have a bit of give, enough that you can sort of bring your arms, like your hands, far enough in front of you that you can see them, but they're like raised above you. If you can see my camera, like they're raised above you, like you're like some kind of weird like bicep flex.
Not enough give to get them together like this.
No.
Can we see our legs?
Yes. Yes. But like I said, there's no light. Not really. Like must be a candle or something burning in the hallway. So because you can kind of see outlines and your eyes are starting to adjust. But it's very dark, and you can kind of tell just from the shapes of people. Like, okay, so, and I'll just for even more clarity, the way it's kind of arranged is that like Reinhardt and Fry, you're across from each other on opposite walls, but closest to where the bars would be, and then Hale and Yorman's son are at the back part of the wall, further away and to the left of Reinhardt and Fry, respectively. And all of you are chained the same way, although the shackles and such have been sized appropriately.
I want to try pulling the chain so hard the bricks come out of the wall.
Very good. I would like you to roll just straight brawn, please. Actually, you can't do that. You have to have a skill. Is there like a... What's this like a...
I mean, if you want it to be straight brawn, I could just roll brawn with a skill that I have nothing in.
Oh yeah, that works. Why don't you do that? Yeah, that makes sense.
Can I have my large bonus, please?
Sure.
Are we still as injured as we were before?
Yes.
Okay.
We were
Are we
never
on a boat?
You're not on a boat.
Okay,
as far as you can tell.
I didn't think so.
Are we on a ship, though?
One raise means I succeed.
Yeah.
So I suppose I've done it.
Yeah. So you managed to wrestle one arm free. Some of the stones give away behind you. Potentially even off-putting the others. Yep.
Nathaniel, I would like to use that one arm to do this.
Spend a 0 point to really pick a lock, crack a safe, or to Simon track. That was indeed given. Hey, okay. Sure. And you managed to get the shackles. Yeah.
That I want to pick the one around my waist.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. So you free one arm. It doesn't really matter whichever arm you think Eagle would go for. I don't know if you're right or left-handed, but and then you pick the lock around your waist easily enough. You don't have any raises left over.
Nope.
So the guards are immediately alerted to the amount of noise you're making.
Okay.
And you are aware that 4 men have now lined up with musket rifles in the hallway and are pointing their guns towards you inside the cell.
Okay.
Stop, prisoner. Make no more movement or you're dead.
I pull the other brick out of the wall and then I stop.
They raise their guns again, like bringing them up to like shoulder height. And there's a shout in the hallway. That won't be necessary, man. He's not going anywhere. Stand down. And they don't. Like they just kind of look to their side and see him walking down, and they don't lower the guns. I said lower your guns. This time they do. There, that's better. No need for hostilities, friend. And the same sort of port, a jolly elderly British aristocrat pokes his head over the bars. You can just barely make out his general shape, and not much else, especially Hale and Yormanson, who are a bit further back. Can we get some light in this cell, for God's sake? These aren't wild coyotes. And a couple moments later, a couple of lanterns are lit and held up. That's better. Gentlemen, it's good to see that you've survived. How are each of you doing?
We recognize this person.
No. Not as far as you know. You don't know who this is.
Do we recognize the rank? I assume he's wearing rank pips or stripes.
He doesn't look like he's military. He looks like he's some sort of member of the aristocracy, like an earl or a duke or something like that.
Does he have a signet then?
Yes,
Signet ring, a signet crest?
He does, yes. Although, and I'll tell you this, Hale. Actually, Hale.
I was about to say, does Hale, as a resident of Avalon,
Avalon, yeah. So could you roll wits and notice, please?
Let's find out.
Nice. Okay.
Damn.
He bears the signet ring of like you doubt this because having been in the Avalon Navy, you're familiar with who the current king are and all of that. But he bears the signet ring of someone of the like imperial house. You know that other aristocrats can gain that with acts of like tremendous service. The same way that nobles can be adopted into larger houses upon certain acts and things. Or they can marry into a larger house or whatever. So, but he basically bears an insignia of like the king's bloodline.
And Hale sort of stretches a little bit, clearly in a lot of pain and clearly not giving a fuck about it. That's an interesting little trinket you've got there. And an outstanding service from our home nation, have you?
Several, I would say, at this point.
You must be quite the patriot. Funny, it's not been that long since I left me home. I've never seen you before.
I'm a new arrival, but folks don't need too much persuading when you bring them the goods.
Made such a big splash in such a short time. My.
And he nods respectfully, actually, to you.
What do you want? How do we get here?
Those are both very valid questions, Joseph Reinhardt. And then he turns to the guards with the guns. You guys can bugger off. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And they do so. They scurry off down the hallway.
And did you honestly have to strip us naked?
I'm afraid that wasn't my call. These army types, they want to feel really powerful.
Unlike yourself, I take it.
I assure you no one was violated or anything horrible like that. And the man walks...
Just a loss of fingers.
And the man walks through the bars, as he did when he presented himself to Ashore.
What the fuck are you?
Oh, another excellent question. I don't know which one to start with now. As to your concern about the fingers, Freya, I assure you that no effects of the cold you felt will be permanent in the way that you understand them. You'll be back hacking people's feet off incorrectly in no time at all. As for you, Jormungson, I ask that you be patient before you start storming the castle. Those bricks are expensive.
Eagle turns to the captain. Are we airing him out? I turn and I swing the bricks on the end of the chains at him.
Hale watches carefully.
Are you close enough? Yeah, I guess so. Right on the ends of the chains. Is your intention for them to like swing at him?
Yeah, Hale shook his head when I asked if we were hearing him out, so I'm just swinging.
Right. The bricks pass through him.
A good effort, Mr. Jormungson. I appreciate your zeal. Rest easy for the moment.
I take that order.
Such loyalty and obedience. I really love it. People say pirates are scallywags and barbarians. But you, the crew of the Selene, you guys are different. That's why I think you're going to be really capable of this mission. I'm so excited to be working with you.
Of course, you have a purpose in keeping us alive. I thought perhaps it was to score a few more political points. But if you've already got the favor of the king, there's not much left to do after that except the throne.
One side of his mouth lifts up a little bit. There's a thought. It's in the works. But why stop at one throne, right?
They are so collectible.
Now to Mr. Reinhardt. I've captured you because I have a job for you. You're privateers. I know that you've been working for Castile. Oh, I'm sorry, was that a huge secret? Oh, you've not been working for Castile then. I take it back.
You have a pretty bullshit way of hiring us.
Well, I apologize. I didn't think the usual flyers on the streets would work, especially since you're wanted in basically every city that's ever existed on this planet.
It's good to be wanted.
So, how about you start with how the hell we got here?
After your little fireworks on the open sea, which, by the way, huge points for class. Really, really admired it. It was very fun. After that happened, I, of course, had to put a stop to that. Couldn't let you get away. Not after I had worked so hard to get you in the ring. And then after that, it was a matter of just, well, you stop for a second. How do I explain this to humans? It basically froze you in place. That's why you're probably a bit shivery. I apologise for that. We'll get you some warm clothes in just a moment.
You've got a good tongue on you. I imagine that's part of your success as one man of words to another. You're wasting them on us. Why don't you just tell us what you want?
Very well. Very well. And as he exhales, he reverts to his natural form, his true fairy form, the way Duke Grim would look. My name is Duke Grim. I am the Lord of the Winter Court. I'm not from here. I'm much like your friend Andre, actually. A visitor. Although I'm not planning on passing through quite as quickly. Your little trinket, Captain Hale, is what attracted me to the Serrano. Oh, you might remember me, he turns to Yormison. You might remember me, actually. At a wee peek at your deck. I understand some of you have a thing about birds, though. Maybe should have been a little less upfront. Once it was clear that you were after that, I figured we might be able to put our minds together. You see, there's one more orb just like that I'm looking for. You see, my kind, well, were warded against this particular place, but humans, and even werewolves, not so much. You guys should be able to slip in easy as day. Or night. Take your pick. It's an in and out job, easy. Grab another little orb just like that. Hardly a task really worthy of a crew like the Selene.
And where is the remainder of my crew?
Well, they're below. Those that didn't die from the initial cold, of course. I'm afraid you lost 2 or 3. I apologise for that. The rest are being taken care of. Meals are being delivered even as we speak. I'll show them to you if you don't believe me.
No, I imagine you're as good as your word.
Is Thorin still alive?
I assure you that everyone, every member of your permanent crew has been treated as best as they can. I'm not here to kill you. Just to hire you.
And why should we trust you? And then I get some phlegm built up, and then I spit in his direction. You disgusting magical kin.
any of the bits of spit that might have hit him pass through him and hit the ground instead. Oh, I see you're not a huge fan of magic. You know, that's okay. Believe it or not, neither am I. Oh, it's a lot of show and not a lot of substance. Most of the time. Trust has nothing to do with it, Mr. Reinhardt. I don't expect any of you to trust me, really. Just expect you to get the job done. There's
I have
good
a
money in it for
question.
you. Yes.
As a man of logistics, one has to wonder if you can walk through walls, freeze the scourges of the sea in place. Why do you need us at all?
No, like I said, Mr. Jormungson, this particular place you're going to need to break into, well, it's warded against my kind. You see, there are fairy on this world as well. Who could have guessed? They're called the She, I believe. Very fascinating creatures. They're the first ones I visited, of course. Lots of nice people. Once I made friends with them and they helped me get into the Avalon aristocracy, well, the rest is history. But anyways, unfortunately, other peoples and other creatures across this planet also know of the fairy. And the ones that work against the She appear to work against me as well.
How inconvenient for you.
And with a bit of a smile, Jormungson turns to Reinhardt and goes, and you thought all magic was bad. Apparently there's a bit of good stuff.
Anyways, I've already spoken with your Andres Serrano. What an interesting pup you've brought to board. I understand it's usual for most crews to have some sort of pet, but you have two. Very fancy. Anyways, Mr. Serrano's agreed to grab the orb for me, so I hope that she'll agree the same way.
I don't suppose you have a contingency in mind in case we tell you to go walk off a short pier and then die a terrible death.
He thinks for a second. I have a few contingencies. And the lantern lights dim a little bit. You won't like any of them.
The usual melange of tortures, I suppose. Maybe with a little bit of fairy inventiveness. I understand your kind are very inventive when it comes to cruelty.
He shrugs. Cruelty. Call it what you want. Words hurt, Mr. Hale. He gives you sort of a wry smile.
Ah, well. I hope you won't throw insults in amidst all the thumbscrews and the hot pincers. Couldn't stand that at my age.
My proposal is this, gentlemen. You'll have the Selene, all of your crew, any armaments you need, general directions to where you need to go, and enough money and gold to buy a couple of small islands anywhere you'd like in the world after the job's done. All you need to do is fetch for me another orb, kind of like Hale grabbed from that treasure ship, and bring it to a location that I'll mark on your map. If you do that, we'll never have to see each other again.
Then what's to stop us from just keeping it ourselves?
And he looks at you and smiles. I really, really like all of you. You really use the noggin. Well, that's where the rest of my she friends come into place. You'll have to wonder to yourself whether the next time a seagull flies overhead, whether it's just a regular seagull or not. I'll be keeping tabs.
Yeah, and we'll be shooting each seagull down.
Oh, I won't really like that too much. But
Doesn't matter.
you can deal with it. You can have your own consequences with the she. They're pawns on the chessboard, I suppose. But I'll know when you have the orb. After that, the choice is yours, of course, but would be the best course of action for you to hand it over.
What do you get out of this aside from some little stupid trinket?
Oh. Well, I get the little stupid trinket, of course. Call it a memento.
And if we agree to your terms, and we complete this job, And you send us off with enough wealth to buy those couple of islands. And we never hear from you again. What happens to Mr. Serrano?
Made my own deal with Andre Serrano. His desires to get home, and I know how to get him there.
Interesting. Seems you're holding all the cards, Mr. Ferry. What did you say your name was?
Grim.
Ah.
The fairy tales.
We don't have those here, but I'll assume you're making a reference.
Shame.
Anyways, Mr. Grimm,
Captain.
if you'll make the deal directly with me, only with me, and the rest of the crew stays under my command and doesn't have to enter into any pact with ye, then I'll accept it.
He crosses his arms in contemplation for a second and just looks at you.
You've seen the crew. They listen to me and my commands. They're good men. They'll get the job done. But I know how your kind works, just a little. You're taking away my effects, but I have fought your kind before. Or at least your cousins hereabouts. I don't trust you. But I'm willing, for the safety and sake of my men, to take you on this. Take it on your word.
Captain, if I may.
Mr. Reinhardt, by all means.
This little orb seems pretty important to him. And then I just take a glare towards the weird creature.
Yes.
I think we need more out of this.
There's the mercenary mind that's made you an excellent first mate. What say ye? What more can you do to sweeten the deal?
He thinks for a second. I have a lot of influence on Thea. Soon to be even more influence. What if I make sure that you're never hounded again?
That's not enough.
What are you after, Mr. Reinhardt? State it plain.
You're getting something valuable out of this. I don't even know what the hell it is. You have the ability, clearly, to become the king of a certain country.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't we?
You want kingdoms? Interesting. Desire to rule, do you have, Mr. Reinhardt?
I want as much as you can give us.
Huh.
Not just kingdoms, not just gold, but everything. That's a small price to pay for this orb that you want.
He gives you another smile, like he's just remembered a joke or something like that. Very good. I don't know exactly how the cards will fall, Mr. Reinhardt, but I can assure you that you can have whatever you can imagine.
No, not everything I can imagine. Everything you have. There's a difference.
He turns back to Hale. I've certainly heard your lad out. It's not unreasonable. Might sound surprising coming from me, but I understand where he's at. I'll throw in some extra goodies to sweeten the pot. Do we have a deal then, Mr. Hale? Just you and me?
You'll have to put it in writing. But yes, if you're willing to give us this world and everything in it for those orbs, then you have my accord on bringing ye the orb that we are going to get.
Very good. And he with a whisk of his hand, a quill pen appears in one hand and a parchment appears in the other. And he shows you the paper, and you can see it's like a huge long thing of a whole bunch of different, all of the things that you guys have talked about, basically put down in written form. And with a very sort of stylish gesture, he signs the bottom, and then the pen disappears. And he puts the paper on the floor and sort of slides it across, so it stops at Hale and Jormungand's feet. You'll find the contract there. And in another moment, Hale, very much like Serrano, there's a terrible flash of pain that sears your chest just above where you might put your hand on your heart. And you can see in your flesh has been embedded a couple of runes of unknown origin. You can't read them, don't know what they say, but they burn into you like a tattoo. The pain subsides after a moment, but the marks do not.
Ah. I see you put it in writing just like I asked. Not exactly where I was hoping for it, though. But that's on me for not specifying. I'll review the contracts. I'm sure it's exactly as it should be.
Exactly. Very well, gentlemen. In a few moments, we'll bring a few guards to escort you back to the Selene. I wouldn't try anything. I'm still watching, of course. You'll find the Selene docked, and I may say that I have allowed your carpenter Teague to make repairs on it while you've been incarcerated. You'll find it spick and span, like when you first stole it, I might say. And Andre Serrano will be joining you in just a hot moment. Interesting choice of words. Well, gentlemen, I look forward to your success. I'll be keeping my nose to the ground. Good sailing. And he turns and passes through the bars again.
And fair wind see you to wherever, far away.
As soon as he's clear of the bars, he shifts back into the portly British gentleman and shouts in the hallway, "Are you guards, you useless whippersnappers? Get down here and free the prisoners!" And he disappears down the hallway.
Piece of work, eh, Captain?
Hale is looking contemplative. Looks like I'm going to have to save the world, lads.
What did we just get into, Captain?
Deep. And Hale looks up for a moment as though reconsidering his words. Trouble.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. And gentlemen, that ends our session for tonight. Ron Side of the Wall will return next week for episode 5, The Contract.
I was really hoping that would have been a good
Yep.
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah, no, you set it up perfectly. What have we gotten ourselves into?
What have we got ourselves into? Beautiful. Thank you so much. That's our session, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 4. Episode 5 will be back on our regular time next week, Wednesday. Episode 5 is called The Contract. And I can't wait to share with you.
Deep Trouble, and we read the Goosebumps book, Deep Trouble.
Deep Trouble 3 is next week's episode.
Oh shit! That means Andre was a dog all along.
So, bum 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 bum. Oh no, you've spoiled my Goosebumps season.
Android Ghost Dog.
Where everyone's a robot at the end.
Hey, if there's a Carly Rae Jepsen RPG, there's a Goosebumps RPG out there.
Look,
It's on playing R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
Dibs on playing the briefcase.
Dibs on playing the dog in the opening.
Yeah.
Gonna be the G.
That was a great session, Nathaniel.
Work.
Really good, Nathaniel. Thank you.
so much.
Christ.